How we all doing this morning? Can I watch you live on? Yeah, I'm there. I'm there. You can vote. I am live on both platforms at the same time, Baxter. So you can hop over on YT. I am there. So good morning, good morning, good morning, Irie. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Abel. Good morning, Cassie. Happy Wednesday, Thursday to you, Cass. How are you today? Good morning, y'all. So yeah, today we are going to be going over cleaning that sewing machine. We're going to be going over cleaning that sewing machine because, you forget about it. You go on these stages of, you're sewing these projects, you get all these things going. And then, all of a sudden it's like the bobbin is, good morning, Jennifer. You're having issues with your bobbin, your needles breaking, your fabric's bunching, all these different things. You're like, why is this happening? Then all of a sudden you take that pressure or the plate off of your sewing machine and you see all this gunk under there. And I'm like, that's probably why all that's happening. That's probably why all that is happening. So we're going to let a few more people join this morning. Once we get a few people in here, we'll go through that process of actually cleaning the sewing machine. That way you guys can see the process. I'm going to show you where, because I do put a little bit of oil in there after I do clean it, and I'll show y'all where we do that also. So just as a little few tidbits of information in there. So just a few tidbits of information. So we'll see how that goes. So hopefully. How's everybody's week gone? How has everybody's week gone? Hopefully everybody's had a good week. So good morning. How are you, Miss Kelly? Good morning. Good morning. Are we ready to have some fun today? Good morning. Good morning. Coffee. Get your coffee out. Everybody drinking coffee? Good morning. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Last day of school before break starts. Nice. You have lots of noise in the house during the day then. Lots of noise in the house. So good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Hit me with a snowball. Hit me with a snowball. That one's cute. I like that one, Irie. That one is cute. I was going through and looking at them. I'm like, well, we got to have some fun with some Christmas ones. We have to have some fun with Christmas ones before Christmas hits. So they always have so many different fun ones in there. So it's kind of cool. I always smile first thing in the morning, Irie. I am happy for it. Right? Isn't that cool, Kelly? It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. If you go through and scroll, there's so many in there. It's like, holy cow, these are just fun. There are some fun ones in there. Definitely some fun ones. Definitely. So, like I said, this morning we're going to be doing some cleaning on the sewing machine. So we're going to be doing some cleaning on the sewing machine. Just as an FYI, I have, Barb. I have been up since 1:30, right? It's 4:30. I've been up for 2 hours, y'all. I've been up for 2 hours. So crazy. Cleaning that sewing machine. I know you sit there and think about it. You're like, okay, I'm gonna clean the sewing machine, and I bet you never thought about you need brushes. You need some of those, and they're just small paint brushes, just little bitty small paint brushes. So as you can see, I use it quite often. So and I don't use it for painting. I use it for cleaning that sewing machine. Use it for cleaning that sewing machine. So we're gonna go through that. I'm gonna give just a couple more minutes. Good morning. So I'm gonna give a few more minutes, let a few more people join, and we're gonna clean that sewing machine. When's the last time y'all have cleaned your sewing machine? When's the last time y'all have cleaned that sewing machine? Let me know. And it depends on what you're sewing also. Depending on what you're sewing is depending on really how often, your cotton fabrics, a couple weeks ago. Awesome. Great job, Barb. Depending on what fabric you're sewing, if you're just sewing like a cotton fabric, there's not a lot of lint and everything in that fabric. If you're sewing flannel, there's a lot more in the flannel. Your fleece, your minky, especially if you're sewing like your minky or your fleece, felt, anything like that. There's a lot of stuff that ends up getting gumped up in the bottom of your machine. So, all right, Jennifer, we got to get you cleaning your sewing machine. Good morning. How are you? Good morning. We are discussing cleaning your sewing machine. So like I said, this morning, we are going to go through that cleaning of your sewing machine. So, and I'm not going to go through like the intense part of the sewing, cleaning of the sewing machine, because we don't want to get into that one. So usually when I do that, my husband is here and he helps me out. So I started quilting, working with senior citizens. They drown in. I'll tell you, they do. They're like, hey, have you cleaned your sewing machine? Have you cleaned your sewing machine? So, yeah, grandma was always one. So, grandma's sewing machine that she had. So, she had one of those industrial sewing machines that actually sat in oil. That one actually sat in oil. Yes. And oiling. Yes. You got to oil your machines. So, but so the intense cleaning that I do, I usually have my husband is usually here for me because, you know, I'm bad. If I'm going to take it apart, yeah. Have you ever had the vacuum kit for sewing machines? So I have a little bitty vacuum that I use. So I've never, I've seen the vacuum kits for the sewing machines, but I got this one. I don't even remember where I got this one, but it's the one that I use. It's the one that I use. So I have a little one that actually blows out too. So, but usually what I'll do is I'll do the blow, because you gotta be careful of that because you don't want to blow it all back into the machine. So, but anyways, all right. So let's get going. Let's get going on this. So, like I said, and I'm trying to think if we do both machines, we're gonna see. And I'm gonna leave the light on. They tell you to turn your machine off when you're doing this. They tell you to turn your machine off when you're doing this, but we're gonna leave the light on so you guys can see. So you guys can see exactly what we got going. Exactly what we got going. So, and I'm gonna zoom you guys in. Is it gonna let me zoom? It's gonna let me zoom a little bit. It's gonna let me zoom a little bit. So I'm gonna throw it over onto go home. We're gonna go over to the sewing. That way it kicks that arm over. That way it kicks that arm over. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this off. We're gonna take the pressure plate off. So this right here is the main thing on there. So on here, if I pop that up, it's going to pop it. It's going to tell me turn the machine off, but that's okay. We're not going to turn the machine off. We are, hold on a minute. I need to lift that foot up. There we go. So we're going to pull that off. So we're pulling this off, and this is, good morning, Cynthia. So good morning, good morning. So this right here is what you need to take off and get under, because I have a singer from high school I need fixed. I love it, and it's needing a lot of TLC. Jennifer, get it fixed. Get it fixed. So, but anyways, so this right here is what you end up taking off. So a lot of times there's a thing right here that'll pop it up. On my Husqvarna, I've learned that you actually have to kind of wedge that one up with a screwdriver. There's sometimes on the back of the machine, there's a thing that pops it up. So different ways that you can take and pop that up. So we take this off. We're going to put this up here. That way I don't lose it. You can take your bobbin out of there. Take your bobbin out of there. And then you take this out of here. So this right here is your bobbin casing. Okay. This is your bobbin casing. So you want to be able to take that out of there, and your brush. You're using that brush. You're cleaning that off with your brush, y'all. Cleaning that off with your brush. So we're going to get that all cleaned off. Get that one all cleaned off. So make sure that one, because that one can get gooped up too. And the sensor that you have for your, when your bobbin thread is empty, a lot of times is affected by this little guy right here. Is affected by that little guy. So we're going to put him up there. So this right here is where it gets gooped up. I don't know if I can zoom. We're going to zoom in just a little bit. So if you see in there, and I cleaned this a couple weeks ago, y'all. I cleaned this a couple weeks ago. Yes, makeup brushes work too. Makeup brushes work too. So all these little bitty brushes that you have. So, and as you can see, I don't know if you can see. So we're going to do this. I'm going to come around and I'm going to go in here. And like I said, I cleaned this out a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to show y'all. Look at this. So I cleaned this just a couple weeks ago, and look how much is in there. You see how much is in there? And that's just from a couple weeks. Literally, I think it was 2 weeks ago that my husband and I cleaned this thing. So granted, I sew on it every day. But as you can see, a lot of stuff gets scooped up into there. a lot of stuff gets scooped up in there. So you take that brush and you kind of clean in there as much as you can. See, and I'm getting more and more out of here, getting more and more. But if you sew a lot of batting, which, you know, we tend to do a lot of batting here in the mornings here. So get those. Sew those up there. But a brush, y'all, a brush. And see, I'm still getting stuff out of here. I am still getting stuff out of here. But that brush is what helps you. And it's almost, there's like an oil base on this brush, y'all. So, and y'all, look at this. This is all gooped up in here. This right here, y'all, can mess up your sensor. It can totally mess up your sensors. Mess up the sensor on your bobbin that says when it's full or empty. It can mess up your thread cutter. I mean, it's amazing what just a little bit of a space of goop can do for you. And y'all, that's just from fabric. That's just from fabric that you guys are sewing. Just from fabric that you guys are sewing. So, so I'm going to take this. This is a vacuum, just as a little vacuum. We're going to see if we can stick out just a little bit here. And then we're going to take the brush. And they tell you canned air. Stay away from canned air. Canned air is not a good idea because what happens, number one, with that canned air, you have that, it's almost like liquid that can get in there and mess up your sensors in there. So stay away from that canned air. If you want to do, get your husband's shop vac out. If you want to get the shop vac out, you can kind of use that, you know, if you wanted to, but definitely stay away from that canned air. Yeah, the little vacuums are cool. The little vacuums are cool. So they work out really well. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to take this other brush because I have this other, it's a little bit bigger brush. And I'm going to get into these other sections here. We're going to see if we can get into these other sections here. I have some pieces of thread that I'm seeing. Some pieces of thread that I'm seeing here. You can kind of use both brushes to get that out. Sometimes when your thread cutter will get little pieces of thread in there. So it's kind of getting in there. But brushes, you know, and the nice thing is the brushes won't hurt anything. The brushes are not going to hurt anything in there. So not going to hurt. So we're going to take clean as much as we can here, guys. But get you some little brushes. And like Cynthia said, makeup brushes. Makeup brushes will work too. The makeup brushes, just any kind of little brush. And y'all, I'm still getting stuff out of here. I'm still getting, and this is a couple weeks ago on this, and I'm still getting stuff out of here. So we're going to keep going here. Keep going. You know, I was worried because I'm like, you know, I just cleaned this thing just a couple weeks ago. I'm like, we're going to get in here and y'all aren't going to see me be able to get anything out of here. But y'all, this is why I do, this is crazy. This is crazy. Of course, I guess that shows you how much I sew on here. That shows you how much I sew. But just keep running that brush in the crease. Just be careful with it. I mean, don't like shove it in, you know, you don't want to get anything in there that you end up messing up a wire or something. But for the most part, you can just kind of just keep moving it around. Just keep moving it around and you pick up all that lint in there. Pick up all that lint in there. That way you can get it all cleaned. Get it all cleaned. Once we get this cleaned, I will show you, because I just put a couple drops of oil in the base of this bobbin casing. So down here, I put a couple drops of oil just to get it oiled up there. And what happens is it pulls that oil back up into the machine too. So that was one thing with the we're good here. I think we're about good, guys. I think we're about good. But yeah, the little brushes are your saver, guys. The little brushers. And you can see, I use that one quite often. I use that one quite often there. So good morning. Good morning. How are we? So we're going to get all of that off there. So now what I'm going to do is put that there. So your oil. So you have it. It's just easy oil. So, and you don't want to do it a lot. You don't want to do a lot. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple drops down in the bottom of this bobbin casing here. So, oh, thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Unmirror. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. There you go. But what you want to do is you want to take just machine oil and make sure that you are using machine oil. You don't want to use those other oils because they're either a little thicker or they have some kind of like different chemical or something in there. So you always want to use a machine oil. You want to use a machine oil, not the other one. So nice thing about this one is it has a little thing that comes out. Has a little thing, and so it just goes out. But we're just going to put a couple drops. So right in here, guys, right in here is where I'm going to put it. So I'm going to just squeeze out all the way to the bottom, just a couple drops. Just a couple drops is all I want there. So put that there. Put that back in there. I'm going to squeeze that back down. And I got this one at Wally World. So we have a gallon of it somewhere that we had got from my grandmother because my grandmother had a like those industrial sewing machines that actually sat in there. So your little bobbin casing, there's a little trick on this bobbin casing, and sometimes this can get you guys. When you're putting this back in, you got to be careful because there's this little tab right here. It's right here on here. You see it right here? There's a little tab right here. So in here, you have this right here. So you want to make sure that when you pop this in here, it goes here, and you see it just it won't go back. That is your sensor right here. So again, it's just a little tab right here. This one right here. This little tab right here. So you see this little tab? It goes, and you have this right here. And each machine is a little different. Each machine's just a little bit different. So, but what we do is we put this in here like this, and it goes there like that. And you see it doesn't move. It doesn't move right there. So now we're going to take this pressure plate. And again, you want to do this with your machine off. They tell you to do this with your machine off, but I did it with the machine on. That way you guys could see the light in there. That way you could see the light in there. So now we're going to take this, make sure that we're good on the back. I'm going to get that brush again and make sure that we got everything off the back of this one too. Because you've got sensors. All these sensors are affected by if there's like a piece of fuzz or something. You know how sometimes your bobbin sensor will come on and it says your bobbin's empty or this or that? And you're like, no, it's not. Well, it's because your sensor has got some lint on it or something like that. So now we're going to take this. We're going to take and put this back in there and pop that back down. And then we'll open that back up. And then we will drop our bobbin back in there. And remember, when you're loading that bobbin, you want it going counterclockwise. Counterclockwise when you're turning that. So you want it going that way when you're popping it into your machine. So you're going to pop that. And there's usually a thing right there. It says on there what way it should go. So we're going to pop that back in there. So that right there is what you should do once a month. You should do that once a month on there, on your machine. Would y'all like me to show you one more time on another machine? I can show you one more time. You want to see it one more time? We can go over to the other machine and we can do this one more time here. Actually, we can do it a couple more times. I got a few machines here going. We got a few machines here going. So, and we're like zoomed in. We're going to unzoom. We're going to unzoom. So, all right. Yeah, we can do that again. We'll go through the process here one more time. Let's get a drink of coffee. Let's get a drink of coffee this morning. Good morning, everybody. And thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for joining. We are going through the process of cleaning your machine, y'all. Going through that process of cleaning your machine. And this is just one of those, your base cleaning that you want to do once a month, at least once a month. I try to do this once a month. That way That way you are able to, all right, Lace, thank you. Have a good day. That way you are at least trying to, you're eliminating those issues you have when you're sewing. You're eliminating those issues you have when you're sewing. Good morning, Sam. Good morning. Thank y'all for joining. All right. So let's go over to this other machine. We'll tell you what, we'll do 2 more machines. We'll do 2 more. Why not? So we'll go ahead and do we want to do the Husqvarna next? Because we have a Husqvarna we can do, and then we have another brother we can do. So we can do both. We can do both. That way y'all can see both of those and see the process on the, because each one is a little different. Each one's a little different. So each one is a little bit different. So. Okay. So we're going to turn this way. We're going to keep turning. Just keep it turning. So yay. Loomies already. Whichever you have time for and the ones you use the most. Cynthia, I use them all. Are you kidding me? You know I use them all. Okay, so we're going to turn this way. Turn this way. Okay. So we are going to do, we're going to come over here. That one there. So this one does a little differently. So we're going to move up a little bit here. Move up a little bit. Put you down. Good morning. Good morning. We are going over the process of, good morning, Pearl. How are you? We're going to go over the process of actually cleaning this machine. So I'm going to turn, yes, it is a 980Q. I love my 980Q. So anyway, that's a little close. So I'm sorry. That was a little close. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to turn this on. That way you guys can see what's going on in there. So we're going to turn that on. Oh, you have one too. Do you like it? I love mine. I love my 980Q. The 980Q is an awesome, awesome machine. When's the last time you cleaned it, ma'am? When's the last time you cleaned it? Good morning. Good morning. Thank y'all for joining. Okay, so I'm going to take that off there. Takes a few minutes for this one to boot. Takes a few minutes for this one to boot. So we're gonna let this one boot a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and take that out of there. Take that one out of there. So on this one, we're gonna take that bottom casing out of there too. And this one pops up this way. So you actually use a screwdriver to pop up that bottom case. So again, I'll show you on here. Get back there. Get back there. So on this one right here, you take the bobbin cover off of this one, and this is a 980Q, like she was saying, Husqvarna. On this one, it doesn't have that, because on the brother, it has that thing you pop it and it pops it up. This one, you actually take your screwdriver and wedge it in there, and it pops it out like that. So that one pops that one out like that. Can you tilt the camera down that way? Is that better? That one. Okay, here. I'll put that back on there so you guys can see. Is that better? Okay, that's better. Okay, so like I said, this is a Husqvarna. Okay, Husqvarna on this one. So you have your so this is for your bobbin. So that's your bobbin casing on here. You always want to take that one off. So you take this off. So you got to take the bobbin cover off. So I'm going to put that up there so we do not lose it. And then on this one, like I said, it doesn't have that release. It doesn't have the release on there. So, yeah, sergers do get filthy too. Sergers do get filthy too. We'll have to do that one day. So on this one, you're going to take your screwdriver right here, and you're just going to pop it up. You're going to pop it up like that, and then this comes off. So you're taking your pressure plate off of there. You're taking that pressure plate off of there. This one doesn't have the same stuff as your brother's. This is a total different kind of machine. So this one is a sewing quilting machine. It is not an embroidery machine. So doesn't have a lot of the same sensors and stuff on that one, so it doesn't have a lot of it. So, and Husqvarnas are metal, y'all. Husqvarnas are metal. So this one I've cleaned recently. I cleaned this one recently on here. So this one pops out, of course, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff in there. So these have, so you have this that pops, so this right here pops out. Where are we at here? Trying to see on this zoomed in thing. So we have this little piece that pops out, and then you have your bobbin casing. So we're going to do the same thing on this. We're going to clean that bobbin casing out. Clean that one out. Give it a little clean. You got to give them a little love, y'all. Give them a little love. Okay. So we're going to put those over there. Put those over there. So in here, screwdriver. And you can't really see in this one as much as you can that Brother Carrie. I missed it. Were there screws that you had to remove? No, let me show you again. I'll show you again. I'll pop this back in here. This one right here. So we can pop this back in here. So this right here, it just pops down like that. It pops down like that. And you use your screwdriver and you pop it up. You pop it up with your screwdriver. And there's no screws. It just kind of, so the brush I have, these are actually like paint brushes. These are like paint brushes, but you can use makeup brushes. Anything that's got like a soft tip on them. Anything that's got like a soft tip on them. So any kinds of the brushes will work. Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. So then then you have your bobbin casing and your little sensor here. And there's like a little sensor right there on that one too. So we're going to leave those over there. We're going to leave those over there. And again, I cleaned this a couple weeks ago. And this is what happened. So as you can see, I'm going to show y'all. This is crazy. This is crazy. Y'all, this is from a couple weeks. This is literally a couple weeks of lint. A couple weeks of sewing with this thing. So, and because my husband, yeah, well, we'll get to that. I put a little oil in the bottom of this bobbin casing here. So, yeah. So we're going to take that. We're going to see if we can get all this. And like I said, this is the Husqvarna. So you really can't get into this one as much as you can that embroidery machine. So it is kind of kept up here. This one, all the spaces in there are kind of closed up. So you're kind of limited on what you can get, which you're kind of limited on what can go wrong with this one too, because literally it's just a sewing machine. So this one, we're literally just taking your brush, and that's about, there's really not a lot that you can get to in this one because everything is closed up. And I don't feel comfortable enough actually, taking this plate and everything off of this one. So needless to say, but still quite a bit of lint there, y'all. You see what that brush does? The brush actually helps you get all that lint out of there. Do you ever do free? Absolutely, Barb. I do free motion quilting. I love to see free motion quilting on there. You see that? That lint came out of this machine. This one came out of this machine. It's crazy. All right, Jennifer. You drive safe, please. Isn't that crazy? This is crazy. Crazy. So anyways, so we're gonna take this one. We're gonna use my other brush because I have two different brushes, more or less the same thing, but we're gonna see just to make sure to get everything out of this one. And like I said, this is a Husqvarna 980Q. So just kind of get that stuff out of there. Get that stuff out of there. And this is the thread cutter here. And be careful with that, y'all. Please be careful because you have your thread cutter right here. That is really sharp. So you do not want to cut your fingers. Don't want to cut your fingers on there. So you got to be very careful with that, y'all. Okay. So once we have that all there, so what I do is I take and right here in the bottom, I just put a couple drops, y'all. Just a couple, and sewing machine oil. I got this at Wally World because I couldn't find my other one, and literally I'm just putting like 2 drops there. You don't want to put too much there. Not too much, just a couple drops. Because what happens is you put that couple drops and then it'll pull up that stuff up top too. So So now what we're going to do is we're going to take and can you see the air? What did it say? Can you use the, no, do not use canned air. Canned air is a bad idea on a sewing machine. A class on free motion, something. Absolutely, Barb. Absolutely. Actually, we can have some fun with free motion after we're done here, maybe. We'll see how much time we have. But anyways, so do not use canned air. Canned air, what happens with the canned air, number one, it has that like moisture in it, So, and with the canned air, it blows the stuff back into your machine. It'll blow it back into your machine and it's not good. So yeah, exactly, Cynthia. Exactly. So kind of stay away from that canned air. So you can use like your smaller vacuums. Like I said, don't really need it on this one, but you have like a smaller vacuum that just kind of with the little brush on the front of it, that'll take the stuff out. So stay away from that canned air. So anyways, so on your bobbin casing, you have that little lip right here. There's a little lip right here. And on here, we're going to put this back in here. You want to make sure that stays there. And it kind of stays, it doesn't move. It doesn't move there. So then we're going to take this little piece. We're going to put this back in here. So that stays right there. So now you have your little piece here and your bobbin casing in there. And then you're going to take and you're going to put this back in here. You're going to put this back in here the right way. So I'm going to put that right there. And we're going to pop it back in there. So now we're going to put an empty bobbin. We're going to open this up. We'll put a bobbin in here. We'll just put a bobbin in there. And again, you make sure it's going counterclockwise. Counterclockwise. Well, the nice thing about this one is I don't think it'll let you load it backwards. So put that back in there. Okay, there we go. So that one is done. Okay, one lady taught me to take picture of that so I remember what way it goes back. Good idea, Lori. Good idea. That's absolutely a good idea. So let's go ahead and go. We'll go ahead and do the brother. We'll go ahead and do one more. Y'all want to do one more machine? We can do one more machine. I have another machine we can go through that process one more time, y'all. So, okay. All right. We'll do one more. Okay. So the next one we're going to do is, the next one is a Quattro 2. It's the Quattro 2. So good morning, Renee. Good morning. So we're going to put this here. Husky's like, why are you putting embroidery hoops on me? I'm not an embroidery machine. It's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn you guys this way. I'm going to turn you this way here. We're going to bring you up here. Oh, don't do that. So we're going to turn this on. We'll turn this one on here. And this one's a little different. You're going to see how this one comes out a little different than the last one did. So, and this is a brother machine, like I said. Each one is a little different. You're just going to have to figure out how exactly these things come out. So, okay, okay. We're going to hit sewing that way. It kicks that over that way. Okay. Hitting my box over there. Okay. So on this one, it comes out a little differently, y'all. This one, how long did it take to quilt on your embroidery machine? Depending on what size of quilt you have. Because like each hooping, depending on how intense of a design you're doing. So you can do one that takes 3 or 4 minutes per hooping. Or I have some that take up to like 20 minutes per hooping. So it can take maybe an hour up to 6 hours. It all depends on the size of your quilt. All depends on the size of your quilt as to how long it'll take. So a throw size. So Jeannie, you could do a throw size in probably between an hour to 2 hours. You can do a throw size. So we've quilted a whole quilt on a live before, I believe, right, Cynthia? I think we've quilted a whole quilt, and I do a lot of throw size. Your baby quilts are that way too. So okay, so this is a Quattro 2. Let me pull you over there. So this is a Quattro 2, a brother Quattro 2 on here. So that's right. That one was a good one. So I'm gonna go there, and we're gonna go there. Okay, is that good, guys? We're gonna see if we can. I'm trying to get both of y'all where you can see it here. So on this one, this, like I said, this is a brother too. I don't have that release over here for the bottom plate. So this one's a little differently. It actually has a little release here. We're going to pop open that. And this one actually has a little thing here that comes off. Actually, I think I got to take that back plate off first. I don't. So this one I haven't. I need a lot of times I'll use a bobbin to do this, guys. A lot of times I'll use a bobbin. We're going to see if we can do it. I don't have. Yeah. So a bobbin will actually go in that screw and unscrew that. And then you can just use your finger to take off the little screws. Just don't lose those little screws, y'all. So there's 2 screws on this one. As you can see, it's just a little screw here. And then there's another screw. I know I have my arm in your way, so. I think it was literally 2 weeks ago. Literally 2 weeks ago, I cleaned these. And you see how much lint has been in them. This is crazy. I'm going to put you guys right there. So this right here comes off. So we're going to take that off. So this piece comes off. It's like a puzzle, y'all. It's like a puzzle. So then we're going to take this piece off. And then this one doesn't have the brushes or anything on the bottom. So it doesn't have the brushes or anything on the bottom of there. So, and then you have your bobbin casing. Then you have the bobbin casing. So this one's not as bad as the last one. We haven't done as much sewing on this one, y'all. We haven't done as much sewing. And y'all, I cleaned this one the same day as I cleaned those other 2. So the same day as I cleaned those other 2. So we're going to see how much lint is in this one, because I don't think as much as in this is in this one, because it's not looking too dirty. It actually not too bad. But there's some in there. There is some, just a little bit, but not a lot. Not a lot. So as you can see, there we go. There we go. So not a lot in this one. So not a lot. And it depends on how much you use it. So, and depends on what you sew. Like I said, if you're sewing like quilting on batting or anything like that, you're going to get a lot more of stuff in there. You're going to get a lot more stuff in there. So he said, this one's not bad. This one, I haven't really done much on this, as you can see, because there's really not a lot of goop in here. Not a lot of goop on this one. So this one's actually fairly clean. This one's actually fairly clean. And again, so right here is where your thread cutter is. So please, if you have a thread cutter, be careful on that thread cutter, y'all. Be careful on that thread cutter. So we're going to take that other brush. Like I said, I use a separate brush just to make sure that I'm getting everything. Because that one gets a little gooped up sometimes. That one gets a little gooped up sometimes. But like I said, this one's not bad because I really haven't done a lot on this one. I haven't shown the love to this one. We need to show some more love to this one, y'all. We need to show some more love. And again, I'm going to put a couple drops of oil. Just a couple drops of oil in here. Just a couple drops. And right there in the middle. Right there in the middle. Just a couple. There we go. Not a lot. You don't want to put a lot in there. Then you take your bobbin casing and you have your lip here. And it's probably hard to see, but on there, you'll see that it comes in here. There we go. And it stops right here. It stops that. That's what makes it stay in there. So then we're going to put this in here. Be careful with these things. Yeah, I know. There's my sensor. Oh, that one's supposed to go in there first. Whoops. Take you back off. This one goes that way. It goes that way. My machine's talking to me. You should really turn your machine off before you do these, but okay. Stay down. They have a screwdriver for your sewing machine. It's like a flat, I have it somewhere. I don't know where it's at. It's somewhere. I think it's in my case somewhere. But it's like a, it has a little flat end for that, but I just use the bobbins. The bobbins work okay. You just put the end of the bobbin in there and it. The things you learn. Boom. Boom. And this right here will fix, a lot of times, will fix the issues you have if you have like a sensor issue on your bobbin, or like your it's not working on the bobbin casing or anything like that. A lot of times it'll fix that issue you have there. So there we go. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to come back over here. Okay. Let's see. It's saying there's nothing there. It's saying there's nothing there. Okay. We're going to come back over this way. Okay. So questions, y'all. Questions, because I know I've probably missed questions, and I apologize. I apologize if I missed questions. So let's see what we got. What do we want to know? Thanks for the follows. Thanks for all the new follows, y'all. Let's see. I've had to start using my needle threader recently. My eyes are good. It happens. It happens, y'all. It totally happens. So what you've seen right now is something I do once a month. So I try to do that once a month. I'll try and just get in there with your little bitty brushes, you know, take your pressure plate off, pull those bobbin casings out of there, and do some cleaning on that. Do some cleanings. It's saying some of the comments were filtered. So you may rephrase it, guys. You might want to rephrase what you're saying with questions. So rephrase those questions, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. And y'all, all my things are replayed on YT. All these are replayed. So if you missed any of the sections this morning of going over cleaning your machine, go back and hop on and watch those replays. You can go watch the replays and you can see the whole process. So what if your bobbin casing is on the side of your machine? Do you come with the same weight? Absolutely. So absolutely. So you would pull that. Do all machines? I thought no on Husqvarna. So I don't put any oil anywhere except for right there in that bottom. So and just a couple drops, just a little bit. So everybody's a little different as to whether they say yay, nay, whatever. But I just add literally just a couple drops, just, you know, just a little bit. So you put the oil under the bobbin casing. So you have that bobbin casing. Before you put that bobbin casing back in the machine, just right under it, just literally just a pinch, just a couple drops there. So each machine is a little different. So, and then the ones that load this way, because you have them underneath the machines and they load that way. So you're going to pull all that out, get your brush, clean all of that out with your brush and everything. So. And like I said, if anything more than that, I like to take my machines to the dealers at least once a year. I like to take them to the dealers once a year because once a year they'll completely take everything out. I have a baby lock serger. They told me it's self-oiled and didn't need to be oiled. Weird. Well, possible. I don't know. Would it be good to tip the machine over and make sure everything is out? Possibly, Dolly. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. I don't think it would hurt anything. So, I don't know how it could be self-oiled if it doesn't have oil in it. How can the machine be self-oiled if there's no oil there? You can put oil under the bob. Yes. That one I already answered. So, but you know, like I said, back in the day, my grandmother had the industrial sewing machines, and they actually sat in the oil. The bottom of it actually sat in that oil. So, those I can see how they're self-oiled, but the ones that don't have it, I don't know. I have an old Singer who has a lot of bottoms of metal and plastic. Can I use them? Absolutely. The bobbins, either metal or plastic, either one. You can use either one. I'm ashamed. I've never cleaned my machine. I have 3. I take them to be cleaned and serviced once a year. So Bianca, yes, once a year, take them to your dealership and get them to do an intense cleaning on it. But once a month, I mean, if you're sewing on it, I sew every day, y'all. Y'all know I sew every day. And if you're sewing, at least once a month, pull that bobbin casing off and get under there and do some cleaning. When I bought my first embroidery machine years back, I was told not to oil it. Pearl, like I said, I always just add a couple drops. I don't know. My industrial, I haven't added oil since I got it, but depends on how often you use it too. Very true, Cynthia. Very true. Industrial machines have wicks that suck up the oil from the pan. Correct, Chris. Yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, it's just something that I was told years ago just to put a couple drops underneath the bobbin casing. Maybe I'm wrong. I could totally be wrong. I could totally be telling y'all wrong. I don't know. Anybody else add a little bit of oil under their bobbin casing? Chris, how about you? Does the oil get in your fabric? No, I don't add that much. I don't add enough for it to do that. I don't add enough for it to get into the fabric. So, and usually what I do once I get done cleaning it, I'll run a couple pieces of fabric through it. You do monthly, Bev. Yeah. Yes, you need to add that oil. Okay. So, and see, and that's what I was told years ago. And I've always added just a couple drops under that bobbin casing. I always oil my machines. Okay, Chris. So, like I said, sometimes they tell you no, but, and I think that's, I don't know. I think that's because, they worry that you'll add it where you don't need it. You oil all your other machines, huh? Do you oil where the thread is? Like, I don't, Emma. So I don't do that because if you, with the bottom there, because when you put it under there, it's going to pull it up. It's going to pull it up into there. So, because that on your embroidery machines, you actually have to take everything out. My lady said to put where thread is, wipe clean. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's all in, it's one of those things, I'd say a preference, but I would definitely, I personally say definitely add underneath. Good morning, Miss Amy. Definitely add underneath your bobbin casing. That way you have that there. So, but he said it's all what you want to do there. So, whatever you feel comfortable, really. So, but definitely take it. I would say definitely take it to your dealership. Get them to do an intense cleaning once a year. If you over oil, it can get on fabric. Oh, okay, yeah. So Chris is saying if you over oil it, it can get on fabric. So, yeah, absolutely. How's Miss Amy doing? Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Amy. Thank you. Yeah, you got to be careful on how much you add. Like, that's what I say, just a drop or two. And small drops, nothing major. So we were going through the process of cleaning the machines this morning, Amy. So we've gone through and done 3 sewing machines. We've cleaned 3 sewing machines this morning. So now we're sitting here chatting. So thanks for the follow. You're the only other 980Q owner I've seen. I love Dolphin. I love my 980Q. Thank you for the heartbeat. I love my 980Q. So yes, regular maintenance is a great idea, Miss Amy. So like I said, once a month, y'all. And if you want to see what we did this morning, go back and hit my YT because it'll replay. So that way you can kind of watch what we did and went through. So we went through 3 different sewing machines and each one of them was a little different. So you can see the process on all 3 of them. So, so this morning I'm thinking, do you mind giving a hint on what you pay for professional cleaning? Oh gosh, Deidre. So I did not pay that. So the company here, I think, pay $175 at our quilt shop. So go look up Mr. Gurr. Okay, y'all. Now I know someone. If you have questions, oh, absolutely, Dolphin, please. Ask me any question you want. That's what I'm here for. That is what I'm here for. So, yeah. And well, Dolly, it probably does depend on where you live at. So it probably does depend on where you live at. And anybody that's new to me this morning, give me a follow. Give me a follow. I'm on Monday through Friday from 4:30 to 6:30 in the morning, Arizona time. I'm on Arizona time. So we are all hanging out and having fun. So hanging out and having fun. And every day we do something different. Every day we do something different. Just like a car, any metal rubbing on metal needs to be oiled, or silvers and metal shavings can happen. Okay, yeah. Chris is saying if you have, yeah, she's right. You need lube. When it's funny, my husband's like, he goes, they should have put grease zerks in your knees. You ever have that problem where, he always thought that you needed grease zerks in your knees. That way you wouldn't have that problem. So, but I agree. It's not going to hurt. Just a little bit of oil is not going to hurt it. It's actually going to help it. So actually going to help it. And actually, let's go ahead and do some stitching on here. So, you were asking about some free motion quilting. Let's do some free motion quilting. I'll show y'all how to do some free motion quilting over here. So we'll get some fabrics. We'll get some fabric sandwiched, and I'll show. I love the free motion. Free motion is my therapy, y'all. Free motion is my therapy. I love to free motion. So let's sandwich some fabric, and let's see what we can come up with. We'll see what we can come up with. I'm half tempted. So the quilt square we made with the t-shirt yesterday. I'm in a short and like watching you. I sew some. Awesome, Emma. Awesome. Very cool. Well, thanks for watching. You're trying to learn free motion. Okay, let's help you out, Barb. We're going to do a free motion, guys. Let's do a free motion learning. We still got an hour. We still have an hour, and let's have some fun free motion. I like the free motion. I love the free motion. So we're going to sandwich something. Let's see, because I have a mess going over here because I'm working on 3 more quid. Did Derek help you? I didn't get the quilt sandwich. We're going to sandwich it tonight. So I was cleaning. You got my free motion tool. Oh, you've got your free motion tool on your machine. Very cool. You just got to remember to drop those feed dogs. So I was cleaning this morning, so I got the embroidery added to the quilt because she had a quote that she wanted added on there. I started working on some quilt blocks yesterday, like the one you showed on yesterday. How did you like doing it, Pearl? How did you like doing it? It was kind of cool. So, yeah, look what I acquired yesterday. So, went to the local quilt shop. They had some cool fabrics. My machine tells me to drop the dogs, thankfully. Awesome, Barb. Awesome. Very cool. Thumbs up. She has, oh, yes. This one's cool. I like this one. This one's really pretty. I got to figure out what to do with that one. These. I'm really liking these. So I'm thinking some more mug. I don't know. I'm liking mug rugs. I don't know. I'm having fun with this one's cool. That one's pretty. Good morning, Nikki. Good morning. Nikki. The quilt shop in Miami. Just saying. Right? They have a lot of stuff. I don't know if you've been there, but good morning. Right? Isn't that cool? Okay, so we're going to put this over here, and I'm going to find, hold on. We got to sandwich some stuff. We're going to sandwich something. We're going to quilt something here. We have a puzzle. I almost missed the puzzle. So we have this fabric. It's got roar on it. The quilt I'm making with the dinosaurs, this is going with it. So I got to cut some squares. out of that. So we're going to put that there. How fun is that? Nikki, you got to go. They have some cool stuff. 10 to 5, all days but Sunday. Did you do Cynthia? Are you asking Cynthia a question, or are you asking me a question? I'm gonna put here. I don't want to do anything with my quilts I'm working on here. Enabler alert. I went to HL last night and to wait for my sister and came home with So we're going to have some fun thinking what we're going to do. I'm looking at my quilt squares I have. So we're going to have fun with this one. I think I actually have 2 of those. Do I have 2 of those? I do. Okay. Because I think what we're going to do is we're just going to get a piece of batting and we're going to sandwich these 2 together. And we're going to quilt them. I just had batting. Pieces of batting here. That one should be big enough. I'm thinking that one. That's going to be big enough. That one is going to be big enough. So we're just going to sandwich this right quick. We are going to sandwich this, and we can do a couple of them. We'll do a couple of them. I'm going to move that way. I love the free motion both ways, sit down and long arm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a lot of fun. I love free motion, period. Free motion is, I've been free motioning for years, y'all. So we're going to take this. And I'm just going to sandwich a piece of batting in the middle of it. And we're just going to, I don't know what it may end up. You know what? We're going to put 2 pieces of batting in here because I'm thinking we're just going to make this a pot holder. Maybe we'll make this a pot holder. I need to move that coffee. I'm going to put that right there for right now. That there for right now. We're going to double batting. When every once in a while I'll do double batting in them to make it just a little bit thicker on there. So just a little bit thicker. So we're going to do a double batting on that. And the extra batting on the side is not going to hurt anything. We'll just trim it off. We'll just trim that off. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to come back this way. I remember the quilt correct. That is what you are working on this morning. So I remember the quilt. So we were going to work on that quilt, but I didn't get it sandwiched, so we're not doing that. So what we're going to do is we cleaned 3 machines this morning. Like I said, we cleaned those 3 machines, and if you want to see that again, go watch it on the YT. I will have that replayed. Now we're going to work on some free motion. I'm going to show y'all how to do free motion this morning. Yay! Awesome. Glad you got it fixed. I asked you about what are you working on this morning. Oh, sorry about that, Christy. Yeah, so this morning we cleaned 3 different machines. I cleaned the Lumi, I cleaned the Husky, and then I cleaned the Quattro. So we went through and cleaned all 3 of those machines this morning. And somebody had asked about free motion quilting, so we're going to free motion quilt. So we're going to take a couple quilt squares. So this is 2 different quilt squares that we've done. 2 different quilt squares. I've sandwiched them together. I've got 2 pieces of batting in here. So we're going to do a little bit of a thicker batting because we're going to make this as a pot holder. So we've got them sandwiched together. And now what we're going to do is we're going to free motion this. So, and sorry I missed your question there, Miss Christy. Sorry I'd missed your question. So we're going to go over here. And first thing we got to do, though, is we got to change these feet out. We're going to change the feet out over here. I'm going to find my screwdriver. Hold on, I got to group my screwdriver because we're going to need the screwdriver over here. The other machines are going, hey, I'm clean. Come sew on me. I'm clean. Come sew on me. Okay, so we're going to come this way. And I'll zoom in on that one too. So what we're going to do here is, first thing first, I'm going to zoom in. That way you guys can see. Go down a little bit. Go down a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off this foot because this is the embroidery foot. Take it off. And we're going to put on that quilting foot. We're going to put on the quilting foot here. I keep the feet that I use right there. So your quilting foot has got that open toe on it. It's got that open toe on it. Each one is just a little bit different, but on this machine, it's got that open toe. So we're going to put that on here. Tighten that up a little bit. And I just cinch it, y'all. Just cinch it just a little bit with that screwdriver. Not a lot, just a little bit of a cinch. So then what we're going to do is we're going to turn on the free motion. So we're going to come over here. I'm going to show y'all. Come over here. And we hit this button here. And you'll see this button right here. It says right here. It's got a loop. And with that open toe here, that drops down the feed dog. That drops down those feed dog. And you can see it's just a straight stitch. Any machine, any quilting machine. So like you see those big sit down quilting machines, those, you can't see the button. You want me to show you again? Let me come over here. Is it like hiding? The light is hiding on there. So I don't know how to go back that way. So the button here is this one right here, that top one. Can you see that? That's better. So yeah, it's this top. So you go here, you go right here, and then that top button right there. The one's got that open toe and then the loop. That is your free motion. It was out of the frame. Oh, okay. So yeah, that top button right here is your free motion. And that what that does is it drops that feed dog down and it allows you to. And then you see that you just have a straight stitch. That's what I was kind of explaining to you guys. With your sit down machines, all your sit down machines that you have are just literally straight stitch machines. They are nothing else but a straight stitch machine. So and then on here, so I don't use a foot pedal. I don't use a foot pedal when I'm doing well, I don't use a foot pedal, period. But when you're free motioning, if you don't use that foot pedal and you just use your speed control, and on the speed control, you see, I have it set in the middle. I have it set in the middle. That is what I use. That's the speed I use when I'm quilting. That is the one that I use when I'm quilting, okay? And then when you do that free motion, if you just do the start and go, it keeps the same one. Dropping the feed dog allows the free motion quilting. Yes, so here is your feed dog. So these feed dogs, what happens is if it drops down, the way they work is they sit there and do this. They'll sit there and do that, and it pulls the fabric back as you're sewing, okay? If you drop them down, it doesn't sit there and do that, okay? It drops down, and then you're able to just move your fabric all over however you want to within that quilting. So that is how that one goes. So what we're going to do is I'm thinking, let's have some fun, y'all. Let's have some fun. What color? And as a reminder, you try and remember to cut your thread from up top and pull it down. When I free motion, seems to bunch up sometimes. Is that a tension? So that could be tension and how fast you're moving. That can be tension and how fast, and if you're not sewing fast enough sometimes. If you're not moving it fast enough, it could be the thread too. It could be. So I pretty much use the same thread for everything, y'all. So I use my embroidery thread. So that's what we're going to use. I'm thinking, let's see. That's got some blues in there. So let's have some fun with some teal. Trying to think, almost thinking, is that one's pretty close. Pretty close. I'm thinking that one. So we're going to use that one. So we're going to thread that one in there. So I just use, like I said, I just use embroidery thread to do my quilting with. Thread that one. So yeah, the pedal could be the problem on there. So, but, and like I said, if you don't use that pedal, sometimes it'll there's like a bunch right there in the middle. Hold on. sometimes that fabric, where that joined right there, I'm going to trim that out of there. That way it's not as thick. That's better. That is better. Okay, and you can start wherever you want. You can start wherever you want on this. I always start on the edge. I always start on, everybody's different. Everybody's different on how they do it. Some people start in the middle and work their way out. Some people start on the one side or the other side. I always start on one side. Okay, I'll start on one side and then I'll just work my way around all the way back to that area. So that's just how I do it. And depending on how big of a quilt you're doing, you know, you can do that. So, and I'm going to get my, I don't, where'd it go? Don't know where they went. Okay. Well, you can use sewing gloves. You can use your sewing gloves if you want to. I don't know where mine are at. I don't know where. I don't think I need it for this small of a piece. You can use, if you're using a bigger, if you have a bigger, bigger piece of thing that you're quilting, you'd want to use your sewing gloves. And you can use just like, what do you call it? Your gardening gloves. Gardening gloves work really well. The gardening gloves have the grippers on them, you know, and you can get them at the dollar store. So my 980Q does free motion too, correct? Just got mine set back up almost to, absolutely. The 980Q does free motion. The Q on it is quilting. So the 980Q is a quilt. That is a quilting machine. So it definitely does free motion. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and, y'all ready to get started? So like I said, I have it set at half speed. I have it set at half speed, and we're just gonna start going here. So we're gonna hit that start, and as you can see, we're just gonna start moving. We're gonna just start moving here, and literally you are drawing with that needle. You're just drawing with that needle. We're gonna do a smaller quilting on here. Just drawing with that needle, y'all. It's like you're doing squiggly designs, this squiggly design. And the design is up to you, however you want to do it. We're doing a smaller quilting on here. Just a smaller, of course I would pick a color that is matching the fabric, and then you can't see it really well. But yeah, just consider your needle your marker. Just consider your needle your marker, and that's what you're using to draw with. You're just drawing with your needle. Like, oh, we need more drawing in that area. We need more drawing in that area. You remember as a kid, you used to take and just do squiggle designs? Pretty much what you're doing. You're just doing doodling. You're just doodling with your needle. And don't think about it. If you think about what you're doing, oh my gosh, that's where it comes into, that's where you get in trouble. Is when you start thinking. If you're not thinking about it, you'll do good. You're like, oh, wait, I'm just going to move over here. Wait, I'm going to move over here. Or you're like, Carrie, you're just sitting here rambling. I'm rambling to you guys. But we just keep stitching. It's like, oh, I'll come over this way, and I'll come over this way, come over that way. Like I said, you're just drawing. You're literally just drawing here. And my goal is to always get to the end without breaking a thread. If you can get to the end without breaking a thread, you're good. And you try to just move in the same motion all the way through it. And there is no rhyme or reason where you quilt. Like I said, it's your design. Whatever you feel, you're like, oh, I feel I need to go this way. Oh, I feel I need to go this way. You can write names with it. You can do straight lines with it, swirls, however you want to do. However you want to do. I just like to I just like to do just the meandering. Just a meandering across the fabric. We're going a little this way, we're going a little that way. Like I said, there's really no rhyme or reason exactly where you're gonna go. So this is gonna be a nice pot holder, y'all. Nice thick pot holder. And you try your best not to go over where you've already stitched. You try not to go over where you've already stitched. And then what we'll do is, when you get done with this, you just go bind the edge of it. Just go bind the edge of them. And I'm just drawing. I'm not even thinking about sewing. I'm just drawing lines. Oh, we want a squiggly line here. We want a squiggly line here. And y'all, I swear I feel like I'm rambling. I'm sorry. I'm rambling along. I know Miss Nikki's on here. She goes, I don't know, but meandering is not. She's like, she doesn't like to meander. We're going to get her there. And try not to sew your finger. And they have like rulers that you can actually do this with too. And sorry if I'm missing your questions, y'all, but I really can't look back, because if I look back, I'll end up messing up on my stitching here. So ask away when I'm done. Ask away when I'm done here, y'all. And as you can see, I'm still trying to move at the same speed while I'm stitching. If you kind of move at that same same speed as you're stitching, all your stitches are the same length. All your stitches are the same length there. And the nice thing is like I said, I'm not using a foot pedal. I'm just using the start and stop on here. And with the start and stop, it keeps that same speed. It's like a speed regulator. And I know a lot of the speed regulators is as you move your fabric, it stitches. They're called stitch regulators, not speed regulators. What am I thinking? Speed, stitch. They're stitch regulators. I had a stitch regulator on my sit-down machine, because that one didn't have a start and stop button on there. It had a foot pedal, so. And y'all, this is something when you're doing free motion, if you like you have a stitch that didn't get completely stitched, you can hide a lot of those errors in your quilting. You're like, oh hey, that didn't get stitched down. That's all right. You can stitch it down while you're quilting it. And then nobody even knows the difference. Nobody even knows the difference. You're like, oh, ha, okay, we're good. And the nice thing is you practice with these small items. Practice with these small items, y'all. That way you're not overwhelmed with a big piece of fabric. If you use these small pieces, just play with it. If you mess it up, it's okay because it's just a smaller piece. And then if it works out, make yourself pot holders, make yourself mug rugs, little coasters, you know, something fun. Starting with a big piece can be completely overwhelming, y'all. I think I was telling y'all last week, the John Flynn frame, you're doing free motion. You're doing free motion with that, and that's actually a lot of fun. That is actually a lot of fun. So. And you can do whatever size of quilting you want in these. You can do like a bigger stipple or a smaller stipple. We did a smaller stipple on this one. I think the last one I did with you guys was a bigger stipple, so I decided to go with a smaller stipple on this one because I don't know. I just thought I like to throw it up different. So. I really feel like I'm talking to myself right now because I have no idea what y'all are saying. We are almost to the end, y'all. Almost to the end. And it took a while. It took a while to do this one. But the reason it took a while is because we were doing that small stipple one here. If we would have done just a bigger one, we could have been done in just a couple minutes. It would have gone really easy. But you got to have fun with it sometimes. You got to do some different stitches on here. And knock on wood, we have made it all the way through this thing with all these stitches and didn't break a thread. Yay! I know, I think that's one thing they judge is when you take your quilts in, they'll look at your stitching to see exactly if you've actually broke threads in there. So, okay, here we go. Let's look and see. Let's unzoom that. We're going to unzoom that here. Okay, here we go, guys. Sorry if I missed any of your questions. So here we go, guys. Here is that small stipple we did on here. We just did that small stipple. And if you look, both sides look awesome. Both sides look awesome on that. How cool is that? Isn't that fun? It is a lot of fun. And like I said, small pieces. You just use those small pieces, right? You just use those small pieces to do that. That's is thinking about it. Yeah. Don't think about when you're stitching it. Don't even think about when you're stitching, because if you think about what you're doing, that can totally throw you for a loop, y'all. Totally throw you for a loop. So good morning. Good morning. Thanks for the follow. Did you do? I did, Gracie. Thank you. Thank you for the heart, me. We did double batting here. Thank you very much. We did double batting in here because we're gonna use. Y'all are awesome with those. Thank you, thank you. So let's go ahead and trim this, and I'm gonna show y'all how to do that. I'm gonna show you how to. 2 questions. Would those be good? Also, Marketplace has sewing machine like so. I would look on MP. I don't know about the ones on T. I don't know. They could possibly be good. I haven't used any of those starting at 150. I would definitely look on MP. Look on MP. That would be my recommendation. And if you find one, send it to me. And I can look at it for you. I don't mind. I've already helped a few of y'all on the machines that you're looking at. So good morning. Good morning. How's Sean this morning? So I mean, pretty much just starting. So a lot of people are, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. I really don't mind helping. So if you find one, like it's on MP or something, send it over to me. I will check it out for you. Number one, I'll make sure that's not a scam because there's a lot of scammers out there. So I'll make sure that's not a scam. And then I'll look at the machine you're looking at. So don't mind helping. Thank you, Irie. Thank you very much. Yummy donuts. I want some donuts. I want some donuts. Good morning, Jeanette. Good morning. Good morning. So we're going to trim this off. This turned out really pretty. I'm excited. I love the feel of quilting, y'all. I love the feel of it once it's quilted. It's amazing just the difference of it, what it looks like once it's quilted. So where is my we're going to use that one. Oops. What is that sound? Okay. So we're going to take and trim this. We're going to trim it and then we're going to bind it. We're going to go ahead and bind this. Why not? Right not. Thank you for the heart, me. Thank you for the heart, me. You guys are awesome. We've had lots of fun, doing good. I hope you are. Thank you. Thank you. If y'all are just joining or joined recently, we did cleaning sewing machines this morning. And I do have you'll be able to see it again if you'd like over on YT. So if you missed it, turn it this way. A little thicker, so a little bit thicker. Oh, there was a side of here. A little bit different. That's okay. Okay, so here we go. And it's amazing, just trimming the edges off. You're like, oh my gosh, it's a cool square. It is a cool square. And it's cool. You need to work on your free motion quilting. Free motion quilting, I love the free motion quilt. So I use a few different quilts. So I have a Luminaire 2, which is a brother. I just sent you a text about work. Hold on. Where's my phone? It just went down. So you can't get to it all, Nikki? No, you're good. You're good. All right, y'all. I'm going to have to let you go. Option on the heavy duty Singer sewing machine. I like the heavy duty. Yes, I have the 980Q too. So, y'all, I'm going to have to let you go because we just had an issue at work that no spin of. Okay. All right. Sorry, y'all. I got to get to work. Apologize that we have a software that just went down. So, IT calls. Yes, IT calls. I'm a director of IT by day, y'all. So needless to say, this is my fun. So I will see y'all tomorrow morning. Come join tomorrow morning. Thank y'all for joining. If you want to watch the replay, like I said, there's we did cleaning the sewing machines. Yes, absolutely. So we did cleaning the sewing machines. Go watch it over on YT. If you click, if you watch, if you click on my first pin on there, you can see how to get to my other stuff too. So go there and you'll be able to get to my other stuff. So thank y'all for joining again. And Nikki, I'm headed to the office now. I will see what we can do to get you going. I'll give you a call. So, all right. Thank you guys. Have a good day. Stop. It's saying, nope, you can't end your life.